Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
Jerry.
I'm Linda.
We're the Village's Newcomers. Quite often we get asked, what about hurricanes? What about tornadoes? What about natural disasters in Florida? We really don't know. So we called somebody that does know, and we invited him to our home. He's here today. Dave Casto, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
We're happy to have him here today. He is the Director of Emergency Management for Sumter County, and he has a lot of the answers that we have questions about. So we're so glad to have him. Can you tell us a little bit about your job description?
Yeah, so as you stated, I'm the Emergency Management Director for Sumter County. My job is to support the community and the first responders in times of crisis. I kind of sit behind the scenes, and when there's an event or incident that happens that reaches the limits of our public safety agencies, I come in and support them with logistics. I'm mostly known for the hurricane preparedness piece of what I do for the community. Whenever there's a tropical system or a hurricane coming in, I get the emergency management system into play, open up an emergency command center called an Emergency Operations Center, and get the shelters open and get people safely where they need to be.
Right.
Now, you mentioned hurricanes. Can you tell us what is the hurricane season here?
Yeah, it's June 1st through November 30th. That's 6 months out of the year.
Wow.
And we are going in month number 2 for this year.
We have not been here for a hurricane. We were threatened last year,
Right.
but nothing really. So luckily, and knock on wood, do you remember the last hurricane that really had a major effect on this area?
Yeah, it was Hurricane Irma in 2017, September 2017. That was 3-4 years ago now. So prior to that, you have to go back to 2004 when we had 2 tropical systems, Hurricane Francis and Hurricane Jeannie. And then there was another hurricane prior to those, was called Hurricane Charlie, that just nudged us a little bit. Those I can say were the direct impacts. And then you may have to go back to 1921 to get the full impact of a storm.
My goodness.
And that was a Category 2, Category 3 storm, I believe. It doesn't happen very often. But I will say what we are noticing more now is that these tropical systems, even if it's out in the Gulf going towards the Gulf Coast, the northern Gulf Coast, they can spin off systems our way, such as tornadoes and other hazards.
One of the big selling points, and it was for us, for living here in the Villages, is that we are not near the coast. We're at least 60 miles from the Gulf, and maybe a little further than that from the Atlantic. Is that a benefit to living here?
It is, but it's not a foolproof benefit. So you have to go back to Hurricane Michael a couple of years ago that impacted Panama City. That was a very large storm. It was a Category 5 storm. It went inland hundreds of miles and still wreaked havoc. So we are a peninsula, so we have water on the left and water on the right and water underneath and water on top. So the direct impacts are very possible because a hurricane typically is about 300 miles in diameter. So if you do the math, the 70 and 60 miles that you just stated, it's less than 300 miles. So almost all tropical systems will cover the entire peninsula with clouds and have some heavy rain and heavy winds with it at times.
We're going to have another hurricane hit here.
It's a matter of
It's just a matter of when. What kind of preparations? And we do the bottle, we get the water. And we store. The Village's homes don't have a lot of room for storing water and things like that.
Extra stuff.
What kind of things? Do you have a checklist available to the public?
I do. I have a publication that is on our website, sumterprepares.com. It's a kind of basically what you just said, a checklist of things to do. So there's about 7 areas or 7 major topics that you want to run through when working with any emergency hazard, not just hurricanes, but there's several other things that people can be exposed to here in Sumter County. The first thing is to know what hazards are here. Understand those hazards, just like we're talking about now. Can a hurricane strike here? The answer is yes, it has happened. The second thing is to get a disaster plan for your family and your business and your friends. When I say disaster plan, it doesn't have to be a thick document in a binder. It's just like a simple checklist of things like get your spam. Tell your friends, and family, what you're going to do, and then go from there. The third part of that is to have those emergency supplies, and we always say get a kit, make a plan, get a kit. Get a kit doesn't mean you necessarily have to have containers full of batteries and bottled water and that kind of thing. Although we want you to get all that, there's other pieces to that too as well, where you could have those batteries and the flashlight in a location. Just have that checklist to say, hey, the flashlight is in the first kitchen drawer and the batteries are in the second kitchen drawer, that kind of thing. Okay. Now the idea of having the kit assembled is if you have to leave for whatever reason, and you just pick it up and go.
Or they call that a bug out bag or something like that.
SumterPrepares.com.
Yes.
And you can go there. We'll put that up on the screen. See it there? And you can go there, and there'll be other things as well. What else can they find at SumterPrepares.com?
Some tips on strengthening the home. What you can do to prepare the windows and the structure of the home. It'll answer some of those questions. Do I need to evacuate or not? Most people really don't realize here in Sumter County that they can just stay home. The people that would need to evacuate would be those that live in mobile homes or right along a water's edge kind of scenario. But if you're in the villages, chances are your house was built with the current building codes in mind, so you can actually stay home. There's another program that's listed on that website called our Special Needs Program, where there are some people that are more vulnerable for whatever reason, where they can go sign up for a special needs program. And if maybe they're on oxygen and they need a little bit of oversight in a shelter, we'll take them to a shelter and have some nurses take care of them.
Yeah, that's probably the number one question that we get. Mm-hmm. Are there shelters for hurricanes and tornadoes in the villages? And as you told me, the water table here is high. There are no basements, or very few. There's always an exception to the rule, but no basements. So there's nowhere to hunker down. So where do we go if we have a tornado warning?
You stay at home. You find the interior of the house that's most protected, that doesn't have windows around it. Maybe you'll have a nice large closet or bathroom, that you can get into. That's basically the only shelter that you're going to be able to find here in Florida. We don't have the large tornadoes and the flat terrain that you would see out Midwest. So, trying to build a community tornado shelters here is just impossible. So we tell people to, find out what part of the house is the best part of the house to stay in. If you do have the money, you can build what they call a safe room within the home. Anybody that's planning to build a home can actually add it on for fairly cheap, cheaper than it would be as an add-on. The shelters that we do have are for hurricanes. Those are larger venues that can hold more people. And again, as I stated, that if there's a hurricane coming and somebody lives in a mobile home or an RV park, they're extremely vulnerable to the high winds and the water.
Now, do they have to find their way there to you all?
No. We will transport. If there's somebody that is transportation disadvantaged, we have a program that will pick them up and take them there and take them back home.
Wow.
You told me that the Wildwood Community Center is one such shelter.
It is.
And there are others, and they would be listed on the Sumter Prepares website?
Yes, SumterPrepares.com. So there's about 6 or 7 shelters. They may not open all at the same time, depending on the type of system we're looking at, the anticipated demand. We may escalate that or open them up all at the same time. There is a battle with shelters, especially up here, because we're at the crossroads of I-75, the Turnpike, State Road 44, and so the traveling folks coming from other parts of the state will be on the road before we will, depending on how the system approaches the state. For example, on Hurricane Irma, South Florida moved up here before we even thought about moving to safety. So that's you're better to stay at home. You don't want to be caught in that traffic,
No.
and your house is built within the building codes that require it to be able to withstand most of the winds and water. But you may lose some roofing tile. You may have a broken window. You may have a tree fall down. But that's no different than a shelter.
Well, Linda knows when there's possibility of a tornado, I'm the guy that wants to go out and say, there she comes.
Yeah, and I'm hunkered down, and he's ready to look and take a picture.
Yeah. But as we get older, well, we will. We've got a room picked out. There's within a bathroom. Sometimes there's a smaller room with the toilet. It's got studded walls, no windows. That would be a good area to ride something out, maybe.
Yes, it would be. We prefer not be next to the wall, but if if you don't have glass, that's the major thing. And you talk about the tornado threat. Two things that I would highly encourage people to sign up for is our AlertSumter program, which again is found on our website. And basically, it's a telephonic notification that we can, if there's a weather warning for the area, it'll send it out to your phone, text it, or email you. And it's specifically for this area. You have to sign up for it, though. Oh. It's not automatic. You have to give us permission to do that. Okay. The other thing is I would encourage everybody to get a weather radio. And, just like we don't have tornado shelters, we don't have tornado sirens either. And so the weather radio is truly the weather siren that can go off and let you know if there's a tornado warning or some other event. And I have control over that. I can actually trigger that. Weather Service will probably do it way before I will. But that's your siren, and it works on the same technology as some of the sirens out in the Midwest anyway.
We realize Sumter County is part of the Villages. The Villages actually spreads over parts of 3 counties, Lake, Marion, and Sumter. Would there be similar services in those counties to what you are telling us about?
Yes, Lake County and Marion County, as well as all 67 counties in the state of Florida, have an emergency management program, and everything I just spoke about is available in all 67 counties.
Okay. That's good.
What about floods? When you come to the Villages, and you guys that are watching know this, we have to take out homeowners insurance. Do we get earthquake protection? Do we get sinkhole insurance? Do we get flood insurance? Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? What do you think about flooding in this area?
If you live in Florida, you live in a flood zone. I don't care what map you're looking at, what it tells you. If you live in Florida, you live in a flood zone. Floods, when a lot of people think about floods, they think about the river that goes over its bank or the pond that goes over its bank. But in the insurance world, flood can be water coming from all kinds of ways. For example, I didn't realize this till recently. I have a sprinkler that's been inundating part of my wall with water, and I have water damage from it. Now, let's say that was from water from a hurricane or a severe thunderstorm. That's a flood. That's not covered under your homeowner's insurance. So your drainage patterns, you look at your yard and see where it pulls up at. Is your neighbor yard higher than yours and the water's coming from them? And if all these answers are yes, you really do live in a flood-prone area. What we do say with insurance, with flood insurance specifically, is that there's levels of flood zones, and if you're in a flood zone C, you're a little higher than flood zone A, so your premium should be a little lower. And but I do encourage everybody to at least consider getting flood insurance, because it's not just about the river or the pond.
We've kind of become a source for people to get information that are thinking about moving to the Villages or to Central Florida. So knowing what you know about emergencies and about disasters and that sort of thing, can you put anyone's mind at ease about living in Central Florida, or would you issue a warning?
I've lived here all my life, basically. I'm a military brat, so I was born some other place, but I grew up as a kid here in Florida. And I've gone through these tropical systems and hurricanes and other events. Most most of the time, a day like today, it's nice and sunny. It's a little warm, but it's beautiful out. And these days happen more often than that hurricane. As long as you know and understand the hazards of a hurricane and you're prepared, you should be fine.
Well, you know, not last fall, but the fall before, a hurricane threatened the area and we bugged out.
We did. We
left. We went to stay with our son for a few days and it didn't hit. Have you found that most of the threats are actually just, you know, near misses or close calls?
Well, you know, that's a perception a lot of people have, and I'll try to explain it this way. Hurricane forecasting has become much better than it even last 10, 20 years ago. But these hurricanes spin off feeder bands, and these feeder bands can reach hundreds of miles out from the center. So when you're looking at a map, you know, like say you're watching one local channel and they're showing here's the center of the storm and it's going to go in this cone in this direction. But what it's not showing is what's going on around it. And I bring this point up because in 2012, there was a tropical storm called Debbie out in the Gulf of Mexico. And it was going straight north. There was nothing putting us in that cone, meaning Sumter County. But it spun a tornado that picked up a mom and her baby in her arms and killed them in DeSoto County, I believe, or Highlands County, actually, which is far south of Okeechobee. That's how far-reaching some of these events can be.
Wow.
So they shouldn't have been out there, but they weren't in the hurricane forecast zone, and they just didn't realize they were in hazardous conditions.
Dave, you've told us some ways that we can prepare, and it's been great information. But I think probably one of the best things you've told us is that we can go to SumterPrepares.com.
Yes.
And within that, we have AlertSumter, which will actually bring messages right to each of us that enrolls in that to let us know when there is a situation that we need to be made aware of.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, it's been so kind of you to come. And we got the emergency management director here. I mean, that is fantastic. The information's coming right from, you know, not the horse's mouth, but from Dave's mouth here. The expert. And we really appreciate you coming today.
I appreciate you inviting me. We're available to go meet with community events and clubs, whatever, talk a little bit more. I really want people to call us with their questions now before something pops up on radar, because when it pops up on radar, it's too late.
That's right.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call. Very gracious. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
We hope you've learned a lot today. I know we have. And I'm going to go right now and go to the website and subscribe to AlertSumter.
I think that's a great idea.
And get those messages piped in. You can do the same. We thank all of you that wrote in questions and hope it eased your mind a little bit.
Please press that like and subscribe. Until next time.
See you when you get here.